Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We're back. It's Monday night, and we have got a bumper-packed show for you. I'm Gianni Battici, today's host. I'm joined by regular co-host, all the way from San Diego, Mr. Dean Jones. Dean, how are you, mate?
I'm very busy, mate. I'm very busy. I've been on my phone constantly. I've just done a podcast. I'm now on here. I've got loads to write. It's all about Man United today. It's a very busy day so far for me. I'm just trying to tweet as well about this show going live right now.
When you woke up, had Ten Hag been sacked or not? Because I know you get up early, and it was around, I think, lunchtime England
it was
time.
like 5 a.m. time here.
Was
so
it?
like quite often I do wake up at 5, but yeah, I didn't check my phone, and I'd probably been awake at about 3ish and checked my phone, see what was on there. I went back to sleep. I woke up at like 6:45 and saw loads of new stuff on my phone. I was like, "What has just happened?"
Yeah.
And then it's like this angst that just overcomes me. It's like, "What was the last thing I wrote? What have I missed? What's happening? Who do I need to speak to? What do I need to write?" So it's been pretty crazy morning, mate. But
Well, there's loads to talk about. We've got to talk
right
about Ten
decision,
Hag. We've got to talk a bit about the Ballon d'Or, because that's on at the moment. And we can talk about some of the players that have been placed already. Mario Balotelli signs for Genoa, and we probably won't be talking about that, but I like that news. And then, of course, we're going to review the weekend action. We've got to talk Saka, Haaland. So there is a ton to get through. We want the Chasers' opinion too on all this. So let us know your thoughts on Ten Hag. But Dean, give us some background. Give us what you know. Give what you know on Ten Hag leaving, but also replacements. And yeah, let's chat Man United for a little bit.
It's funny. It makes me laugh because Ten Hag sits there defiantly and says, "It's just you guys making it all up." And he blames the media in these press conferences and said that, we're all on the same page. The project's going well and all this sort of stuff. It's like, no, it's not, mate. It's not going well. And if you want to blame the media sat in front of you, then fair enough. But you need to look in the mirror, and you also need to accept that your job is under threat. So, yeah, I feel like he must have known this moment was coming, even if he was trying to deny it. Ultimately, that penalty at West Ham, which probably wasn't a penalty, is a blessing in disguise for Man United because it means that he's gone. And now Man United can kind of move forward. Ruben Amorim is talked about right now as being approached for the job. I wrote 3 weeks ago that Amorim was emerging as like a top candidate for the job at Man United if they did get rid of Ten Hag. The problem being partly compensation halfway through a season, partly that Amorim wouldn't want to change jobs at this stage of the season. Even now, as talks are opening up, it's not completely clear when Amorim would take the job. He's definitely had his head turned by this, and definitely in a way that was different from last summer when clubs were talking to him. But for Man United, this would be a massive scalp because Man City would have looked at Amorim as the potential successor to Pep Guardiola, and Liverpool would have had, or did have Amorim on their list before they went and got Arne Slot.
Was he not wanted by Liverpool? What happened there, Dean? Because he was heavily linked with clubs like West Ham, but also
he ended
Liverpool.
up staying. Yeah, he ended up staying.
Just didn't want to go
through what he was doing with Sporting.
Right.
So it's interesting that Man United would turn his head. Also, though, a positive for Man United, Bruno Fernandes rates him. Ugarte has played 85 games under Amorim, so he knows him inside out. And that was one of the other big problems for Erik Ten Hag. Like, Ugarte's played 2 or 3 minutes in the last 3 Premier League games for Man United. What is that about? Why are you playing Eriksen and Casemiro side by side, mate? Like, that is not the future of this club. That is going to cost you your job because they cannot see anything building. So if you're playing a team from the past and also not winning, it's going to cost you your job. And that's ultimately where it's ended up for him. We'll wait to see what happens in terms of the timelines on Amorim that open up. I imagine Van Nistelrooy will still be in charge, certainly for the Carabao Cup. Who knows for Chelsea at the weekend? We'll have to weigh it up. But for Man United fans, I think it's a good moment. I think it's a positive moment. And for journalists, it's a busy moment.
Yeah, Man United's always the big talking point. But then in football, like the circus that goes with the Man United job, it's huge. So the new manager stuff, I can imagine your morning has been frantic. I'm delighted we're speaking to you though on Chasing Green Arrows today, guys. Do strap yourselves in and take all this in. Dean is an FPL fan second, but a journalist first. So so you're getting a good opinions here. Dean, just talk to me a little bit about how Lisbon have played in recent years under him and why he's so highly regarded. Because obviously we've seen links in the past and we've seen his name, but very few, unless you watch the Champions League or follow the Portuguese league, you're not going to be too familiar. Obviously, the likes of West Ham and a few clubs, including Liverpool, he was in talk, or he was talked about as like a replacement for Klopp. You mentioned, how does he play? How does he set up, and why is he so highly regarded?
Well, it'll be good in possession. Like, that'll be first and foremost. Like, you can expect to control games better if you're Man United under Amorim. And I think probably a comforting fact for Man United fans, if this happened, would be that tactically he's very smart and he's very flexible. If things aren't working out, then he'll be willing to kind of change the picture, change the formation. He's not going to be playing Mazraoui as a number 10. He's going to be playing Agate in the role that he's deployed, and he'll be playing Kobbie Mainoo alongside him. That was the plan when they signed Agate, and that will go back to being the plan. He will identify talent and then actually get the best out of that talent, which obviously Man United has been a huge problem in terms of they sign all these players and can't get them to their optimum level. Lewis says Amorim likes to press, likes to play 3-4-3, and
he likes wing backs, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's very flexible in that sense. So that is what's also interesting about him. And he's got Victor Gyökeres, which is interesting.
Available, right?
There's
for the right price.
The open secret has been that wherever Amorim goes, Gyökeres will follow. Let's see if that becomes true. I
mean, you've got a Haaland size problem if you sign him, and you've got they've spent huge money on number 9s in. Call Xerxes a number 9 maybe, but Xerxes and Haaland, that's the best part of 100 million, isn't it? So, and you'd have to spend the same again to get him.
He's an offensive coach first and foremost, right? And that will probably be the most refreshing thing about this.
Yeah.
Not only will he actually coach and actually start to change the way the team plays, but he'll actually be attack-minded. And when you consider Garnacho and Rashford and Haaland and Dalot should be working on his attacking after the sitter he missed at the weekend.
I mean, but Dalot as a wing-back is a great FPL option.
As a wing-back, Dalot will certainly suit.
That's amazing.
It puts new focus, too, on what happens on that left flank, because Luke Shaw, assuming that he won't be able to carry out that task for too much longer, if ever again, means the United will probably put a lot more attention on that left-back position and who starts to come in there. But ultimately, United have made the right decision here in terms of it's gone on too long, obviously. Like, this decision should have been taken a long time ago. But when Man United have assessed the season so far, they've had 14 matches. They've only won 4 of them. They haven't beaten anyone any good. And so they have Ruud van Nistelrooy, who can help see out this period in the interim until Amorim or somebody else comes in.
Like that very much. And in terms of timeline, Dean, we think obviously Van Nistelrooy's in place, ready to step in, you'd assume, for a game or two. I mean, the international break is coming up as well. Do you think we might see the international break as sort of that transition if United, if it's Amorim or anyone else, or is it likely to be before that in terms of in the dugout?
Yeah, this is the tricky thing to understand right now, because Sporting have always been of the belief that Amorim would not leave them mid-season. And I think that he's got a level of loyalty that would certainly be against his will to go and join Man United right now. But I think he probably looks at it and thinks, blimey, I'm taking over one of the biggest clubs in the world. They're 14th in the Premier League. They're drawing all their games in the Europa League. They've got a great squad on paper. They're willing to make it even better by spending money. I'm not going to get many opportunities like this. If you go to Man City, the only way might be down. You go to Liverpool, which is obviously past that opportunity now. Like, maybe it would have been difficult. Arne Slot's done really well, but that was difficult. Man United, the elevation levels are there, and I just wonder if that is what has happened. Also, given that this news has come out so quickly on the back of Ten Hag being sacked, I don't know this for sure, but I imagine that United have had positive signs around it already, and that's why they've now parted ways with Ten Hag, knowing that they're at least some way towards convincing Amorim. But of course, Liverpool thought that previously. Liverpool thought they had Amorim in the past and turned out not to be true. West Ham made a little approach for him, which was ambitious to say the least. But it'll be interesting. Like, yeah, China says there, like, wonder if United would wait for him. They can only wait so long. Like, he's not going to say, I'll come to you next season. Then they'd be like, well, okay, what are we going to do here? We're getting like Edin Terzic for the rest of the season, getting Xavi for the rest of the season, give it Ruben Van Nistelrooy for the rest of the season. You don't want to get in that situation. Like, this is a club that say they're going to win the league by, was it 2028, the Project 150? So they've got to get things going again here. But ultimately, I don't think there'll be too many United fans, United staff or players really that disheartened by this decision.
So far in the Champions League, I think they've had a fairly good start. I think they actually play Man City in match day 4 on Tuesday, the 5th of November. So that's a week Tuesday.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's
and then Arsenal. Sorry, then Arsenal, the Champions League game after that.
They've got a really interesting schedule coming up, and I wrote a thing the other day about how many scouts are planning to go to those games for Sporting to look at their players, but also to look at the manager. Sounds as the way it's going, they won't have the manager up for grabs at that point.
Interesting. Remember, this is the same club, Sporting Lisbon, guys, where Cristiano Ronaldo came from. So, there's a bit of a United romance there already. And he does, by the way, so far in the Champions League, 2 wins, 1 draw. He speaks English too. He's answered questions in English without translation in press conferences and stuff. So yeah, another perk. Guys, lovely. Thank you so much for your comments in the chat. Manager bounce for the Chelsea game. I don't think we need to worry about too much because he's probably not going to be in the dugout. But let's see. Mohammed says Ornstein says United close to Amorim. Yeah, and Dean's just in the last half an hour put out an exclusive story through Gimme Sport as well, which is definitely worth a read. I've just been scanning it. Dean has tweeted that out. And as you said, Dean mentioned it 3 weeks ago that it was something that United might be looking or exploring, i.e. this manager.
Indeed.
Ballon d'Or, Dean. I've just seen Didier Drogba on the red carpet. He's wearing a white jacket. He looks smooth as always.
Luke said, what channel is it on? What are you watching it on?
Oh, I'm just following on Twitter.
Oh, you're following Twitter. Yeah, it's always hard to find the Ballon d'Or. It's usually on like Eurosport or something, if I remember. Or TNT. Is it on TNT Sports? I don't know.
On TNT. I mean, I saw Florian.
It's not fun to watch anyway, is it?
It's long. It's very long.
I've been to it.
Have you?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was painful.
Where was it? Is it always in Paris? Is it always?
Yeah, it's always in Paris. It's a French award. And then the only thing I got out of it, Messi won it the year I went, and Van Dijk ran him close. The only thing I got out
Liverpool
of it,
won the Champions League then, was it? Must have been.
Yeah. We got right into the mix zone. We got like 3 questions with Van Dijk, and we just asked him about his aftershave. Asked him about how he smelled.
Very good.
That was it. We used it on an episode of Ranks. It did really well. Off we went. Like, we've just gone to the Ballon d'Or ceremony. We've seen Messi walk past us. Van Dijk's come close to winning it. We've got a chance to ask questions. And we've just asked him random questions about how he smells. Did really well, though.
Yeah, I bet. Do you remember the name of his aftershave?
I don't know, but it was funny because it was that period where players were so good about Van Dijk being the best smelling player in the Premier League. They were like,
really?
It's so annoying because not only is he brilliant, you can't get near him, but he also smells amazing. And we were like, do you actually put an aftershave before a game? He's like, yeah, I like to smell nice.
Oh wow, he actually does the thing. Wow,
he actually does. Yeah.
I've seen some of the placings. We've had Emi Martinez at 18, Federico Valverde at 17. We've had Xhaka, the one that Arsenal let go too early because he was amazing last year for Bayer Leverkusen, 16. And we're up into the teens. I think we had Nico Williams at 15. We had Lookman at 14. Glad he's made the list. And Olmo at 13. Florian Wirtz at 12. And I think that's where we're at in terms of their tweets. Rodri has arrived on crutches. Obviously, he's looking like he's the favourite. Vinny Jr. was touted as the favourite until today. News broke that it's likely to be Rodri, which is interesting. Which is very interesting because, I mean, yeah, you don't often see that Rodri's clearly the best in the world in his position, but you don't see centre-backs, you don't see defensive midfielders often getting awards. I think the last defender to get it was Cannavaro in the year Italy won the World Cup, I expect, 2006.
Yeah.
So there we go. It's on YouTube, apparently. Good. Well, you can, by the time we've wrapped up this show in the next 40 minutes, we'll probably be down to the final few. So you can go tune in on YouTube then. There we go. There we go. Guys, thank you for all your comments. Do hit that like button. We are getting close to that 9,000 sub mark, you know. We would love to get there. So if you fancy supporting Chasing Green Arrows in the best way, shape or form, is by subscribing. There's also a button, Dean, underneath called See Perks. Oh, that's because I'm already a member. I think it probably says join to most people. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. 2 levels of membership at the moment. One, you support us, you get your little emoji next to your name. Better chance of us reading out your questions, probably. And also get extra members videos, which you can request, by the way. If any of our members have requests for extra videos you want me or G to do across this week, then do give us a shout, and I'm happy to do those. Otherwise, we have to think of things for ourselves, and I don't like to think for myself. I like to be told what to do. And the top tier, you get to come in the Chasing Green Arrows Elite Members Club WhatsApp group, where you can chat to me and many other chasers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's really good, especially over weekends when the games are going on. It's like, for me, it's quite nice to catch up sometimes too, because like, say this weekend, like the 4:30 a.m. game, like I wasn't going to get up for that. It has to be a really good game for me to get up for that one. But it's like I wake up and I'm like scroll through the messages and see what everyone's saying about like the lineups, and I get like a minute by minute commentary of what's going on. So yeah, come and join us. I really would like a couple of sign-ups during this show, so please come and join us, people.
There we go. You heard it from the man himself. Thank you, guys, as always. Of says the membership is awesome. Nice, thank you, Ofcourse. Bjorn says, let's talk about Brentford double up on Mbeumo Invest. Yes, we will move our attention swiftly to FPL. This show is predominantly, as you guys know, if you're new around here, it's predominantly FPL. So, Mbeumo we don't need to talk about. He should be in everyone's team. He started the season at 7 million. He's now at 7.7.
He's not in my team.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that.
So annoying.
He plays Fulham away. Brentford, in terms of goals scored, I think away this season, they've only scored 3 or 4 goals. Their home form, they're like the best in the league at home table. The away form, they're bottom of the league. But they have had terrible away fixtures. Like, if we look at their away games this season, they have played Liverpool, lost, City lost, Spurs lost. Oh, and Man United, they lost that one. It's been tough games. At home, it's a different story. Next up, they play Fulham away, then Bournemouth at home, Everton away. We don't have to worry about the homes. They've got Bournemouth and Leicester in 11 and 13. The aways, though, Dean, Fulham and Everton, much easier fixtures on paper, but look, not easy places to go. Goodison Park and certainly not Craven Cottage this season. Should we look at Avissa? Because Brentford are scoring a ton of goals at home. And when we look at that 6 million price band for forwards, loads want to get rid of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, myself included. And you've got options at like Jimenez, Visser, 5.9, and Strand Larsen, 5.5. But for me, Visser's probably the standout sub 6 million forward. So what do we think of Brentford on the road? And you've been to Brentford Fulham at the Cottage last year, haven't you? I remember you saying Mbeumo was so good. Did Brentford score goals?
I think they beat us 3-0 last season.
Did they?
I think the season before that we beat them 3-2. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they beat us. They beat us last season. So yeah, they do score goals at Craven Cottage, and it is, you know, and in terms of a derby, I mean, most people it wouldn't be on their radar, but you know, Fulham and Brentford fans don't like each other at all. And it's a rivalry that goes back to when we're in the lower division. So it's quite a fun one, and it's quite a local one, which bubbles under the surface for everybody else. But it's great in there on the day. I don't hold great confidence for Fulham in the fixture. It really is kind of difficult to know which way it goes. You look historically at the fixture, and it's like Fulham win, Brentford win, Fulham win, Brentford win, Fulham win, Brentford win.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty inconsistent in terms of which team has command of it. I'd say in recent times, Brentford have had the hold over it, unfortunately. So we need to kind of sort that out this weekend. It's the Monday night game, isn't it, as well?
Oh, is it?
Pretty sure. So it's a difficult fixture.
Could
Fulham
go up in price
really
tonight, by the way. He could go up in price. He's getting the love. He obviously got
Really?
10 points at the weekend. He's played 90 as well.
Yeah, I mean Fulham just so frustrating this season. We've played really well. We know that under Marco Silva we've got like such a good coach, but there are just so many things that got on. So obviously, like Everton, 95th minute, concede a goal, should have won the game, didn't happen. West Ham, like late equaliser, Danny Ings scores in the last seconds. There's some points we've thrown away. We had that Carabao Cup game, which went 34 penalties deep, and we ended up losing. Went to Old Trafford on the first day of the season, had a great chance to get something out of that game, messed it up. Man City, we could have gone to the Etihad and won. Adama Traore missed like 10 chances. Andreas Pereira missed a penalty against Aston Villa. We ended up losing that game 3-1. Like, we are honestly so finely balanced in terms of being like a top 7 or 8 team this season. But I just going to end up being like 13th or something, just for those tiny little moments that we're missing out on. Brentford never keep a clean sheet, says Dan, and that is true.
No.
So
The game's got goals.
The game has got goals in
which
it,
makes
so
Johan Visser, which was a thing. Someone asked, just talk about Visser. It's a good option, isn't it?
It's a good option, yeah. I think that's one thing from an FPL perspective. Forget about my Fulham perspective. From an FPL perspective, it's a good game to be looking at to get a forward in there.
Maliki sold Solanke to Visser for a hit. Yeah, Maliki did say that on my WhatsApp group earlier, I think. So he's gone early.
For a hit is quite a big shout.
Yeah, and Solanke's an interesting one. I think we have to discuss Solanke because there's other forwards out there people want to sell Dominic Calvert-Lewin for. Chris Wood is one. Mateus Cunha is one.
Mm-hmm.
They're both more than Dominic Calvert-Lewin at 6 million. They're like 6.4, 6.5. Now, if you really want that forward, Chris Wood or Cunha, you might have to sell your Solanke spot. And I own Solanke and Calvert-Lewin. Which one's the bigger priority sell? Calvert-Lewin. Which one gives me better replacements? Obviously, Solanke is more expensive and I've got no money in the bank. The problem with Solanke, as much as I dislike him, he's got... Spurs are so much better at home, and 3 of his next 4 are at home, including Villa at home, which is a good fixture for Spurs historically. Ipswich at home, which is surely, if Solanke's ever going to score, then okay, it's Man City away, but then it's Fulham at home. For the next 4 games, 3 homes, I feel like selling Solanke feels a little bit too knee-jerky.
I know. I just can't tolerate Calvert-Lewin anymore.
Exactly. He's the bigger sell.
He really is. I mean, obviously, he's got Southampton away. Like, that gives you that thing like, is it worth a transfer? Because surely he can score at Southampton. Me or you could go to Southampton and have half a chance of scoring a goal this weekend.
Yeah.
But maybe we've got a better chance than Calvert-Lewin because his goal-scoring returns just haven't been there. I've kept him in my team way too long while I focused on other things. And it's got to the stage where if I'm going to have an Everton player, I want it to be McNeil. I don't want it to be Calvert-Lewin. So I'd like to get that sorted out. I've obviously still got my wild card up my sleeve. I don't think this is necessarily the time to use it, but it is slightly tempting because I hate 2 of my 3 strikers. The other thing is, as you say, Solanke, ditching him ahead of 2 games that are both at home. It's really difficult. He's not filling me with any joy, that's for sure, but any hope as well at the same time. Tottenham totally messed up at the weekend against Crystal Palace. Like, the midfield structure was totally wrong from Ange Postecoglou, and he had to like address it as the game went on, and he left it too late as well.
Second game in a row that's happened. He's had to address that problem. He's just desperate to play Maddison and Kulu, and clearly every time he goes, it doesn't work. Unless you're playing Ipswich at home and you've got all the possession, you can't go to a place like Sellers Park and do that. Just like he couldn't do that in game week 8.
It's quite maddening, really.
He's naive, man. Like with the fullbacks too. You've got 2 attacking mids in Maddison and Kulu. You've got a front 3, including wide men, and you've got fullbacks that are allowed to push up.
Yeah.
It's kamikaze football.
And the thing that kills me with Solanke too is obviously there was that 4-1 win over West Ham recently. He didn't even score.
Yeah, I didn't get. So, I've just looked up. You might have heard my screen grab. I wasn't taking pictures of me and you. It's his last 3 game weeks. I've just gone to the FPL website. I've just tweeted this. If you want to check it out whilst you're watching, is XGI combined expected goals and assists 0.03 in the game week just gone. By the way, he played 90 minutes. So 0.02 XG, 0.01 XA. Against West Ham, he played 80 minutes, 0.11 XGI, and then Brighton 0.29. Like, we're talking about a number 9 for a team that creates loads of chances. Should be getting like 0.5 to 0.7 every game.
It's weird. Like, I want him to just be a tap-in merchant. That's all I want. I just want him feeding off scraps. And I thought that's what it was going to be. I think it was his first goal. Like, I'm sure was like, keeper saved it. He just followed it up and tapped it in, something like that. And I was like, yes, that's all I want you to do. Stay in my team and just feed off of scraps. I don't care how well you're playing outside of that 18-yard box. Just make sure you are in it. And he's not in it enough. And it's quite frustrating. Everybody in the chat right now saying Solanke's playing too deep. It's got to be an instruction. Like, it's got to be.
It's not his natural game. At Bournemouth, he's not going to do that. Tapping merchant. Like, they signed a player that is a fox in the box. Like, I remember Monday Night Football, first game of the season, they went to Leicester, and I remember Carragher and Neville doing a feature on Spurs had more successful crosses than any other team in the league last season. It was like, they crossed the ball into their number 9. So you go and buy a poacher like Solanke. It felt perfect. That's why I thought, they've gone Solanke over Tony, because Tony is better at the hold-up stuff, the stuff coming deep, and Tony does drift. And it's like, they've gone Solanke, and now they're asking him to play a different role. Like, it's strange. And they want Brennan and Son getting into these quite central shooting positions, but they also need their number 9 in central shooting positions. Surely he's not Bobby Firmino. Like...
it's weird. It's weird.
I tweeted it saying the picture of 0.03, 0.0 whatever, and I said, who is this mid-price forward? And someone's commented saying, I would say Solanke, but 0.08 in game week 8 is too high for him.
Totally. Discomfort. You legend. You absolute legend.
Kieran's one of my ultras, so he's going to.
He just left yours and joined ours.
He's going to add a lot of value. Kieran is brilliant, and he's been a long time chaser. I'm seeing Kieran on Sunday because I'm going to Saturday, a One Football meet up in London. They've got the Serie A trophy there, and Christian Vieri is also there. So you can come and meet Christian Vieri and watch the couple of Serie A games. Milan play, Juve play. Not each other, unfortunately. But if anyone wants to come along, me and Kieran will be there. If you're in London, I think I've tweeted it, but you can also Google it. It's free. It's free to come along. It's in Shoreditch, and it'll be loads of fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be good. And hopefully encouraging One Football to continue to sponsor my YouTube channel. That's the dream. That's the dream. Where are we? So yeah, we've spoken about mid-priced forwards or low price forwards. Dean, how do you rank them? You've got 6.5 million to spend. You can have Wood, Cunha, or you can go under 6 million and have like a Visser, a Strand Larsen, or a Jimenez. That's 5 forwards. Give me your top 2.
It just has to be Wood at the top. Has to be. Like, he's just like a goal machine at this point. Like, I can't believe it. Every time I'm watching, he's just scoring. And like, I've said it 1,000 times. I don't even rate Chris Wood. But at the moment, if I was to bring in a forward, it would be him. I mean, you look at the fixture as well that he's got coming up this weekend. Like, fully would back him to score. West Ham home, then Newcastle home, Arsenal away. So, okay, maybe not Arsenal, but those 2 home games, I absolutely would be backing him to score. He's got a 13, a 7, and 8 in his last 3 game weeks. And even when you go back through the weeks beyond that, he's got a 9, a 9, and 8. Like, at that level of pricing, 6.4 million.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, you can't really get close to it. So I like that Wood the most. If I was then to look for somebody else.
Have you seen the Wolves fixtures? The Wolves fixtures are why everyone's talking about Cunha.
10 great fixtures almost.
It's a long-term hold.
It goes right up to the 22nd of December. They've just got good game, good game, good game, good game.
Oh, it starts with Holmes versus Palace and Southampton. Like, good. But they are Wolves. I would put Cunha at 1 or 2. I think I'd have Wood at 1, Cunha at 2. But if I can't afford these guys. If I'm selling a Calvert-Lewin, if I'm going for the 6 million and unders, I think Visser beats a Strand Larsen.
Yeah, I'm never sure about Strand Larsen. It's going to be tough, though, because this is a good stretch. We're going to actually see what Wolves actually are now. They had the most difficult start to the season. I think they've actually played quite well. Other people would disagree, but
I agree.
I think they've been unlucky.
I said that last year as well. They kept losing games they were deserving to get something from, and it's been the same theme. It seems a Gary O'Neill thing, but are we going to see Strand Larsen getting the chances, or is it going to be Matheus Cunha getting the chances? Because at the weekend just gone against Brighton, Strand Larsen barely had a sniff.
Yes.
Yet Cunha racked loads of shots and chances created. He got the bonus points. He got the goal. Strand Larsen played 90 minutes as the number 9. Didn't rack up much in terms of expected.
Yeah. Cunha only 3% selected right now. I'm sure that will rise as we go through this week. But he's tempted. Obviously, like you say, the next 2 fixtures are Palace home, Southampton at home. So when you've got, say, for example, Solanke, I'd have to get rid of Solanke ready to go there. I don't think... What's Calvert-Lewin worth at this point?
6.
Yeah.
You need 0.5 in the bank.
Yeah, I couldn't go there. So I'd have to go Solanke down to Cunha. But surely there's as much chance of Cunha returning here than there is Solanke. So I think they're the 2 main ones we've got to be looking at this moment in time.
I agree.
Maybe get on some ITK Wolves accounts to see what they think about the difference between Cunha and Strand Larsen. I'll try and dig into that this week too, actually, to just find out a bit more by the end of the week.
For those under 6 million, they're going to shop for Visser or Raul Jimenez probably, over Strand Larsen possibly. How do you rank Raul Jimenez versus Visser? The fixtures are pretty similar. Fulham have arguably got a slightly better run.
Yeah. You know what I'm like. I'm a bit pessimistic about Raul. I love him. I'm always happy when he's scoring. I just have no faith in it continuing. So probably.
Has he turned a corner though? Are we seeing the Raul Jimenez we saw at Fulham before the head injury? Are we starting to see that player? Because the free kick for Mexico the other day.
I know. We have seen some good form
different
from
type
him.
of goal. Different type of goal.
We've seen some good form from him. I don't think we'll ever see the player that he was at Wolves. He was so good. Before that head injury. So I don't think we'll ever see that at Fulham. I don't. But I'd probably go Visser over Jimenez, but that's because I'm a pessimistic Fulham fan and I never pick Fulham players.
He's seen as an amazing finisher, Visser. When you speak to coaches at Brentford, I remember hearing one of them when Tony was at the club saying Visser's the best finisher at the club, better than Tony in terms of out and out finisher in training. Wow. It's Visser. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That is interesting. So I think that's where I am right now. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. We haven't really said it much on this episode. I haven't even got the YouTube app open. I don't even know how many people are watching right now.
I'm trying to say it a little bit less because I realise I ram it down people's throats on my own channel and then I go on others and scout and chase.
I don't like to say it much,
but I think we're saying 3 times a show, 4 times a show is good, isn't it? Every 15?
Yeah, I don't know. Just try and do it without us mentioning it. Just try and...
I try the subtle ones inside.
Yeah, just come in, give it the like. Make sure you're still subscribed and keep the Chasing Green Arrows channel going.
The best one is when someone in the chat says it and we can bring the comment on screen.
Is normally doing it. But
and it's we can bring that on screen and then we don't have to say it because it's on screen. That's my favourite. Yeah.
Exactly. 250 odd watching at the moment. Thank you, Paul, for letting me know. I've just opened up the chat. So it's... How was your game week, mate? What are we looking at?
Let's have a look at our teams.
I think you had a pretty good week. I haven't even seen your score, but I did check in at one point during the weekend, and I thought, geez, could actually do pretty well.
Green arrow for once.
Yeah. You must be catching me up. You must be not too far behind me now.
Possibly. You're still top of the league, but triple captain played
30 points or something. Yeah.
So it was right. It was nice to get a return from Rico Lewis. That shows 2 points for Lewis, but Lewis was a 6. Lewis was definitely a 6. I think the others are all accurate, though. Yeah, Mikalenko too. I played Mikalenko over Gabriel. Point gained.
There you go.
Backing against Arsenal felt a bit risky when they went 1-0 up. I was like, oh my God, Gabriel's going to get a clean sheet. So when Liverpool scored, and I thought Trent got the assist, but Diaz had a slight flick on that header. Yeah. But watching it live, I was like, oh, was that a Trent assist? And I was like, did it take a nick or not? Yeah. And then I was like, is it off a defender or not? RCH did. Don't forget to hit the like button, you beauty. So Rico Lewis got a clean sheet, was lovely. The biggest thing with the triple captain failure wasn't the fact Haaland missed loads of big chances, because everyone else had him captained anyway. So the fact I triple captained him, it was annoying. And whatever. It was, by the way, his second highest XG ever in the Premier League for Man City. His XGI, or his XG, sorry, was like 2.2.
Oh, it was hard to
When
watch.
he gets 2.2, he gets a hat-trick, usually. But the biggest issue for me there wasn't Haaland missing points. It was a lot of the chances created for him were from another player I owned, Phil Foden. So it was a massive combination. And Phil Foden, at my rank, is like 3% owned. Like that was the bigger gain. It was Phil Foden.
Yeah, that's a frustrating one. I mean, City, they should have scored 3 or 4 in that game. Haaland should have scored 3 or 4 in that game. I watched it live. Kind of ruined my weekend.
Kieran says it should have been 1-1. Can't believe it wasn't 1-1. Kieran said this to me on WhatsApp, and I was like, mate, you are. But Kieran triple captained him against Wolves the week before, so he's just feeling a little bit bitter, for his blank. And Sells got the assist. Did you see that? Long ball. So it was a long ball for, it must have been the Chris Wood first goal, the header over the...
Oh, I did actually, yeah. It was a long time ago, but I did see it, yeah.
There's a lot of chat in the community saying that shouldn't have been, because it was like Wood the intended target, and that's how you deem the assist. But I think he probably was. Like, you don't expect your goalkeeper to get an assist, though. Mark says it was an outrage. I disagree. I think he deserved the assist as an owner. But yeah, elsewhere, the big disappointments, like I don't mind if Rodgers gets a point and comes off before 60. You can't always get returns from your budget players, but seeing Calvert-Lewin like blank is just disappointing. And I think when we look at Everton now and we see they've got a couple of away fixtures, they've got Southampton up next. You're like, oh, Southampton, but it is away, and Everton just don't produce much. So I think he's going to be my sell. The other possible sell for me this week is Gabriel. Like, we don't know much about his injury. Kieran actually has a feeling. I don't know if it's any information he's privy to suggesting he could be out slightly longer.
I'd had the opposite. I heard it's not too bad. But,
really? Well, we've seen ice on the knee, but we just don't. Yeah. Arteta's not going to tell us, though, so keep your ear to the ground there, Dean, for Friday.
Yeah, no, I did hear it was reasonably optimistic that he wouldn't be out for too long, but then what does too long mean? It depends on what your expectations were in the first place. But it didn't sound like a long-term thing by any stretch from what I heard this morning.
I don't really want to sell him because I know I want to buy an Arsenal defender back at some point. It just feels like a waste of a transfer. But if he's going to be out for 4 or 5 games, that's when you consider.
I don't think he is.
2 games, I'm fine holding him for 2 games.
I think that's much more likely.
Right, and we do have an international break coming up, which I think is. I think they've got Newcastle, Chelsea international break, or yeah, sounds good. Shushan says not getting Salah. I don't have plans for Salah. It's continued to cost me though. That late goal for Salah, by the way, earned him the 3 bonus points. No, I need major surgery to get Salah. Getting Salah requires me to sell Haaland. Like, it's not going to do it. And I really want to keep Trent. Trent's pre-assist, by the way, and we got to talk about Palmer's pre-assist. What do you make of those two?
Palmer's pass was absolutely insane. Like, absolutely insane. Like, that lad is just an unbelievable footballer. I'm so glad I've got him on my team now.
To see it and then to execute it is like a level.
He has a glance over his shoulder before he gets the ball. But like what he's looking at isn't even what he ends up playing it into, because like people have moved by that point, and Neto hasn't even obviously started his run when he's first looked. But that was the good thing for Chelsea. Having Neto out there gave them something different in terms of an outlet, because Sancho wants the ball to feet, whereas Neto wants to go in behind, and he's so fast and he'll execute his passes into the middle much better. And I think it probably suits Nicholas Jackson a bit better as well. So
it's a great goal, that, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a brilliant goal.
Because it was the Palmer pass, obviously, but Neto to beat his man. Sancho doesn't get that ball. He's not as quick. And Sancho probably backs out the 50-50, which Neto nicks. Yeah. And then also that first time left foot cross from Neto, I was like, oh, that's really good. Because Neto, I always feel like he's slightly more comfortable on the right-hand side, but still very good on the left. And he had a great game. He's going to play against United because Sancho is eligible. So Neto, 6.2 midfielder, guaranteed to play against United. It's worth a punt.
How do you feel now about the Saka versus Palmer thing? Because, like, obviously, like I had a question on ranks this morning where one of our Chris Cribbins, who's in here, actually was like, "Dean, did you know Saka was going to be playing? Because you were about the only person still saying like, I still think he'll play. I still think he'll play." And yeah, I had a strong hunch that Saka would play that game, but I did not think he'd play 85 minutes. Like, how can you go from being such an injury doubt to playing 85 minutes against Liverpool? That's what annoys me. So, like, I knew he would play a part in that game. but I didn't think it would be significant enough that I would still want him as a fantasy asset. I thought he played brilliantly. Like the way he twisted up Robertson was really impressive. But I'm still completely comfortable with having Cole Palmer instead of him.
Better
Completely
asset.
comfortable. I think
They're
so.
both great, but Palmer's the better asset for me. I just think Chelsea's a little bit more dynamic. I think he playing in more central areas, he'll usually get more shots.
Yeah.
Saka maybe comes with the same level of assist threat. Saka's corners are amazing, and Arsenal are great at set pieces. I haven't looked at the numbers. Maybe Saka even edges it for assist threat, but for goal threat, I do feel Cole Palmer, who, by the way, had a goal disallowed very, very tight. Sorry, VAR call in the first 20 minutes, and a penalty was given on pitch, and it was overturned by VAR rightly for On and Kunku, but Palmer very nearly had a hat trick. And he's got better fixtures. Arsenal go to Newcastle and go to Chelsea. I don't see Palmer clocking big points. Like he'll probably clock a return because he always seems to, but I don't see big points there. But
absolutely.
Look, I definitely, if I was on a wild card, Saka and Palmer, you want them both. You figure out how you get them both in your team, and that is why I don't have Salah.
Yeah, I mean, Salah kind of saved my week again. But
come on, let's see your team then.
Yeah, you can stick it up. I think I got 55.
Yeah, Salah with a late 10-pointer, wasn't it? Because he got the goal and that got him the 3 bonus.
Yeah, I mean, he was looking like nothing again, and then he comes up with the goal and gets 3 bonus, like 3
Always
bonus.
Late in the game.
Unbelievable how he ends up there. Didn't really have a good game.
He doesn't. Quite often that's the case, but he gets FPL points.
There's some really weird passes as well in the final third. But yeah, so the decision to triple captain Haaland actually kind of saved my week too, because it just gave me some extra points I wouldn't have got. Salah's goal. I mean, Raya has just been a nightmare.
Did he get booked? Is that 0? Because 2 conceded, no save point, and he got booked. So yeah, 0 pointer. Is that right?
Yeah, it is right, mate. Like,
isn't he the highest owned goalkeeper as well?
Raya's last 4 weeks, mate, are 0, 1, 2, 1.
I so nearly went there on wildcard. I'm glad I didn't. Because those fixtures have been good, right? The 2 or 3 of them have been gimme.
He's played Leicester, fixtures. Southampton, Bournemouth, and Liverpool. He's got 4 points from 4 games. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable.
Fabianski played as well, so you could have started Fabianski.
I know, yeah. Fabianski's now got his spot. Maybe next weekend I'm going to just switch him over, drop David Raya from my fantasy team.
Yeah, do beware, guys. Fabianski, Areola wasn't injured; he was benched. So do monitor that.
Deservedly benched too. I mean, I'd actually done an article last week saying that would probably happen. So yeah, maybe I should have followed my own intuition and advice there, and actually gone for Fabianski.
There's no harm starting him because he's very likely to come off the bench. So he's either going to play or not play. If he's got the better fixture than your standing keeper, you might as well chuck him in. Like I've got him and I've got Sells. This week they play each other, so I'm going to start Sells. But genuinely, I might chuck Fabianski in quite a bit because he's not going to come off.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lewis obviously got 6, not 2, but Robinson and Porro getting 2. Honestly, I kind of do need to wildcard. I don't want half of these players anymore. I don't want Solanke. I don't want Calvert-Lewin. I don't even want Rodgers anymore. Porro's annoying me. Robinson's annoying me. Raya's annoying me. One of my bench players doesn't exist anymore.
You've got a good structure with your Salah, Palmer, Haaland draft, though.
Yeah, I know.
And in game week 12, Arsenal's fixtures really turn. They get a great run, and that's when you can go double Arsenal. You can get Saka and Gabriel back in or whatever.
It's just like every week I'm just getting this gradual drop. Like I'm getting pretty average scores, but like I'm just not doing anything.
Remind us all of your rank though, Dean, because you are doing well.
It'd be like, I think I'm finally into the millions now. Yeah, I'm out of the hundreds of thousands now, I think. 1.2 million, yeah. 1.2 million. So it's been a big drop week on week, mate. But I've still got that wild card, so that's good to have. I'm not too worried about the triple. So Shant says that my team is unbalanced.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means in FPL. I really don't know what that means. It means I haven't got any bench players that I don't know. I think my bench actually is fine.
Yeah. All Barco says is I've not wildcarded yet, and that's absolutely fine. Exactly. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 in the Chasing Green Arrows League says Mark Nash. Okay. Who's that, Dean or you, Mark? In terms of where you're looking to go maybe forward then, like you can only sell 1 player this week. Oh, no, you actually do have, because you...
I remember Dylan took the triple, yeah. So my team for this week...
Calvert-Lewin out, isn't it? We can't carry him another week. There's too many good budget forwards.
I think
Visser
so,
for
but
1.
because it's Southampton away, mate, it might end up
Yeah,
that
but we
I give
said
him
that
another
last
chance.
week.
I
And we said that
know.
the week before.
But he's not going to never score a goal again.
No, but
Surely.
it's isn't he?
I don't know.
When did we? Let's look at the fixtures. We said let's give him one more week for, because I've said it for the last couple. He has played. Okay, I said it. I was fine with blanks versus Crystal Palace and Newcastle, and then he had Ipswich. I can't sell him versus Ipswich. Blanked. Then he had Fulham. I can't. He's home against Fulham. If it was away against Fulham, maybe at home against Fulham, I'll give him a chance. Blanked. His numbers are rubbish too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Southampton's away. Don't you feel like Southampton will play football?
Do you reckon I'll be
against
better
everyone?
off with bringing Dibbling in for the home fixture?
Yes, I did. Yes, that's not a bad shout. Like Southampton, what do? They always have a go and they play quite
They've
good
got
football.
to have a go at this team.
Against Everton, I think Southampton are probably the better footballing team at home than Everton. I think they probably dominate the ball in this one.
Yeah, that scares me a bit. But yeah, maybe I'll do that. I'd rather not use a transfer this week. I mean, the fixtures that I've got here, it seems fine. Salah's got Brighton at home. Palmer's got Man United away. Haaland's got Bournemouth. Solanke hopefully returns in that Aston Villa home game. Raya, he's a loser now, isn't he? He's going to concede 3 goals against Newcastle or something. So maybe Fabianski comes in against Nottingham Forest instead. But yeah, a tricky situation for me here because as everyone keeps saying, keep waiting for game week 12. And I do want to wait. It's just like you start to get the button starts to just, your finger starts to hover over the button and you just want to press wildcard so you can just fix this and feel happier short term. It's like when you go on like Amazon and just start buying stuff just to make yourself feel better. That same feeling happens with the wildcard, but it soon dies off a couple of days later.
Yeah. Guys, thank you for keeping with us all evening. We've loved seeing your comments in the chat. Lovely to see so many members in. If you're a member, you get a star by your name. So we read absolutely all of them. We'll try and bring more of our members' chats up on screen. We won't always answer questions, but if members have them, we tend to get to them. Getty says, yes, bench DCL Dean, so he scores for the rest of us. Andy, I'm a Villa fan. He's becoming lukewarm. Yeah, I think that's probably on Rodgers. We have to remember with Rodgers, you're only spending like 5 million. It's fine for him to have some blanks and off days.
Yeah.
He has been a 90-minute man until the last couple of games. And Emery said he's feeling the effects of that. So it's fine. He's come out of the mix and he'll get a rest in the Carabao Cup. So there we go. Spurs defence, Dean. Pedro Porro. I mean, he's expensive, isn't he? Like when you spend 5.5 million, you need some clean sheets or you need reliable goal threat every game. And the way Spurs... I think it's the away form that's frightening. The good thing is for Spurs, just like Solanke, 3 of the next 4 are at homes, and you expect Porro to probably be quite dangerous. So you think you'll probably stick with him for a few more games? Other fires to put out, right? Like other more important sales than him, or?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just looking at it now, Porro's got 30 points this season, which makes him, 3, 6, 9, 12. It's like the 15th, 16th best defender in the game at the moment. So it's not terrible at 5.5, but then it's bizarre when you start looking up and you see like Justin at Leicester, Keane at Everton, Aina at Nottingham Forest, even Luca Dean at Aston Villa, haven't even talked about all season. Like they're all above him. So it makes you just wonder like how much money you could save because Porro is 5.5 million and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players to have scored more points than him so far this season, who are all at least 0.3 million cheaper or more. Some are like 1 million cheaper. So obviously that might not be sustainable because we're talking about teams that are probably going to be down the bottom end of the table eventually. But it does just make you think, like, if you're not getting any returns from Porro, and he's 28% owned and all the rest of it, it just feels like a template pick that's just a waste. So I think there is a smarter way around that one. I just don't know that I know what to do with it, to be honest.
Yeah, fair. Phil Foden, by the way, someone in my team, obviously one player, Premier League Player of the Season, big like force for Man City's title, blah, blah, blah. Good run in the Champions League. 11th in the Ballon d'Or. Surprised that he got so close, like to the top 10, knowing he had such a rotten summer for England.
Yeah.
I guess the Ballon d'Or is January to December, though, isn't it? So, yeah. Maybe if it had finished and it was just off the season, he would have got, I don't know, slightly better votes.
Yeah. Would you sorry, just to change again, would you
Go on.
bring in 8 Nori for Pedro Porro, which is what a lot of
Yeah.
people are now suggesting at a
Are
million
they?
saving? Yeah. He's 1
Eight,
point below him in the standings so far.
I think Nori has like 3 goals in his last 3 or 4 games as well. Like it's ridiculous. He is scoring. Yeah, he's got 3 goals in his last 4 games. He's going up in price tonight. He's 4.5 million. He'll either rise tonight or tomorrow. I think you can wait though, like, or maybe you just move early if you like him.
Yeah.
Gary O'Neill played a back 5 versus City, and it worked quite well. They did all right. That he played a back 5 versus Brighton. Back 5 is good for Nori because he's a wing back, not a full back. But at half time against Brighton, and he said post match, I was disappointed in myself that I played a back 5 because what he wants, he doesn't want to play a 5, he wants to play a 4. And he said he changed it at half time. So Nori was actually a left back in a 4 second half when he scored the goal. It doesn't really matter if he's in a 4 or a 5. He seems to be sky high regardless. Like, he is a good pick. And those Wolves fixtures, I don't know. I mean, they're short of centre backs, but they never look like a team that are on the ropes defensively. Like Kilman's left and Mosquera's injured, and they're definitely so short in that area. And still, every time they play, you go, they look all right. Craig Dawson and co seem to do a job. Like they'll keep clean sheets for those fixtures.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone pointing out he's on 4 yellow cards at the moment.
But
Sean says, who cares? He'll miss one game.
Like,
yeah, they've got like 9 good fixtures coming up. So he'll miss one of them. But
I think Cole Palmer might be on 4 yellows. And what are you going to do? Not buy Cole Palmer?
It's hard, isn't it? Yeah, like you can't just constantly worry about that kind of stuff. You just got to deal with it. Zayt
it's a
says,
3-game ban, fair enough, but it's a 1-game ban.
One game, yeah. Says he's had Porro and 8 Nori. Yeah, maybe. I just don't think that Porro is worth the 5.5 at the moment is the problem. Sally says, is Man United now going to be an option? I think it will become more of an option, no doubt about that. But I think we need to wait to just see how and when this next appointment.
Dean, the fixtures after Chelsea are Leicester, Ipswich, Everton. Don't hate it. If you want a bit of new manager bounce after Chelsea, don't know. I looked at Garnacho for that run and thought, could even Bruno be an option? Big man is laughing, like maybe.
Oh, he might be.
I genuinely don't hate that.
He might be, yeah. If Amorim is the man that comes in, then he will certainly inspire some new life out of Bruno Fernandes. That would be good. I think
I'm a bit higher as well, do you reckon?
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see what he ended up going for as his front line too, and like which of those wide players he really embraced. Like, would it be Garnacho? Would it be Rashford, new lease of life? Like, Ten Hag just killed Rashford. Like, he played him into some form and then just literally like got a fire extinguisher and just put him out like within like 20 seconds.
Changed his position all the time as well, didn't he? Like, crazy. Rashford didn't know what he was. Was he right, left, centre forward?
He was probably thinking about leaving, to be honest. You must get to a point where you're like, what is the point? What am I doing here anymore? But yeah, it's Man United just want to just keep our eye on for now. Certainly don't do anything yet. Well, I don't envisage that Amorim will be manager by the weekend, but that could change. We'll see.
Debanjan, should I hold Delap or upgrade him to Wood? Cunha, if you've got the money and a free transfer, Wood and Cunha are so much better than Delap. Of course they are. Yeah, definitely make the move there, Jan. Abhishek says, would you do number one Johnson, Solanke, Salah, and Visser? Oh, I struggle to answer questions like this. My brain doesn't work. Johnson, Solanke, Salah, Visser. Oh, sorry, brain can't do it. Just can't. I need to see it. I can't do it. I can't do it live. It's too hard.
It is difficult.
I could tell you one and pretend I'm being convincing with it, but I'm not going to tell you one I don't believe in because someone else will call me out later in the week. Zubin, the best 3 million picks. Haaland, Salah, Palmer. Yes, versus Haaland, Salah, Palmer. Oh, Saka. Okay, yeah, Salah is better than Saka. That's all that question is, I think. What's around him? Isn't it? I can do this one.
Nicholas Jackson's such a good pick at the moment.
He's great.
He's a good pick. Like his price point is just really awkward. That's the problem with him.
Neil Robertson's on Nicholas Jackson.
He's just in no man's land though as a pick. Like he's just like slightly higher than you want to go. But I guess if you're going to be at Solanke, you might as well try and get to Nicholas Jackson, you know.
I think sometimes we worry too much about the fixtures. Like we've all gone Solanke's got better fixtures than Jackson, but Jackson plays in a much better functioning attack.
He does.
Sometimes I get done by fixtures all the time. Is Watkins a sell, Dean? Specifically, Sally wants you on this. I mean, the
Yeah, I don't
fixtures
know why.
aren't great for Villa.
Yeah, I don't know why specifically me, but
Well, you're well informed. And
Tottenham
you're having a better
away.
season than me. She's looked at our ranks.
Tottenham away doesn't scare me at all for Watkins. That's the thing. Like, Romero's an absolute disaster this season for Tottenham. I'm not sure why.
Errors now.
But no, Vicario's having a good season for Spurs, but Romero's a nightmare. Like, he's making very strange decisions on the ball. He's not as resolute off the ball, like defensively. And then, yeah, go to Liverpool away though wouldn't be quite as full of hope. The problem is, after that spell, you have got a really good run of games for Ollie Watkins. And you're talking about Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Brentford, Southampton, and Forest, and he will be getting returns across that period. So I'd tread carefully in terms of getting rid of Watkins because you just never know.
James said, what should I do? Transfer out Gabriel and Saliba or Watkins and ECL? You've got 2 free transfers. I'd be maybe one of each, maybe one Arsenal defender and one forward. I don't think I'd be offloading both Arsenal defenders because I do think there's a time where we'll want Arsenal back. Like, they are the best defence in the league from last year, and I think we'll see that later in the season.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a wild card. If you've still got a wild card, bin all your Arsenal now and wild card them back in 12. Guys, those longer questions, by the way, that I couldn't answer live, where you ask for big combinations. And if you're watching on catch up, feel free to drop a comment and our producers will get back to you. A comment in the video, not in the chat now, but actually comments to the videos. That massively helps the YouTube algorithm. So do drop a comment if you've got a longer question where we can absorb it and answer it in more detail. Yeah. But thank you as always for all your questions, long or short. We really do appreciate it. Madueke, I think, is a hold. Michael, I think he's still playing well enough.
Yeah, he definitely is. Yeah.
He's got that spot on the right-hand side. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We will see you for another stream on Wednesday. Me and Dean will be back on Friday as well. For now, he's been Dean, I've been Janny. You lot have been the awesome chasers. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.